بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى
Interpretation of the Holy Quran.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. We started to have interpretation of Quran. With the help of Allah, we are going to continue. Please listen to the verse 34 to 41.
فإذا
Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says, فَإِذَا جَاءَتِ الطَّامَّةُ الْكُبْرَى. But when the great disaster comes, يَوْمَ يَتَذَكَّرُ الْإِنسَانُ مَا سَعَى, the day when man shall remember all that he strove for. وَبُرَّزَتِ الْجَحِيمُ لِمَنْ يَرَى, and the hell shall be made manifest to him who see. فَعَمَّا مَنْ تَغَى, then as for him who rebelled, وَآثَرَ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا, and choose the life of the world, فإن الجحيم هي المأوى, lo, hell will be his home. Allah is talking about the day after, and he says, الطامة الكبرى فإذا جاءت الطامة الكبرى. It means this event, the judgment day, overshadow all the events. When it is coming, people will forget everything. الطامة الكبرى, Allah calls as something very big event. Allah says, متاع الدنيا قليل. Anything in this world is small, is nothing. But when he's talking about the judgment day, he says, الطامة الكبرى, great disaster, great event is coming and overshadow everything. يتذكر الإنسان ما سعى. In judgment day, people will remember everything that they have done. Today, maybe we will forget what we have done yesterday or last month or last year. But in Judgment Day, it is not like that. Nobody forgets. يَتَذَكَّرُ الْإِنسَانُ مَا سَعَى. Everybody remembers what he has done before. وَآثَرَ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says, فَأَمَّا مَنْ تَقَى وَآثَرَ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا. Then, as for him who rebelled, any person disobeyed, وَآثَرَ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا, disobeyed, then he was attached to the material world. Allah wants to say that the roots of the problem is attached to this world and material items. The roots of the problem is secularity, when we believe that the judgment day or spiritual things should be separated from this world. This is the roots of the problem. فَأَمَّا مَنْ تَقَى وَآثَرَ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا. those that who rebelled and then choose this life of the world and forgot and ignored the day after. Then Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says, وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ. Please listen to this verse. Verse 40.
وأما
وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ. And anybody fears from Allah. مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ. It means position of Allah. Allah Himself has nothing to be feared of. But His position is very important. We scared and we fear from Allah's position. It is like judge. We don't fear from judge as a person, but when we look at his position and his responsibility, and we know that we have done something wrong, then we scare. Allah's position is the one that we should be scared and we should fear of. خاف مقام ربه ونهى النفس عن الهوى. The roots of fighting with the desire is fearing from Allah. It means when we fear from Allah, it helps us to obey Allah. But when a person doesn't fear, this is the source and roots of the problem. وَالنَّهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى. We should know that our desires is the one that deceive us, and our seductions are the roots of the problem. And when a person protects himself from his desires, in front of his desires, he is going to succeed. Then Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says, فَأَمَّا مَنْ تَقَى وَمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ. It means there is no exception. Any person obeys Allah, fears from Allah, or anybody who disobeys. Those who disobey are going to be punished. And those who obey Allah will be rewarded. So these two, فَأَمَّا مَنْ تَقَى, who disobey, وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ, and whoever fears from Allah. It doesn't make a difference. The position, education, financial situation, it doesn't make any difference who you are. Either in the viewpoint of Allah, either a pious person or a sinner. This is something that it makes difference between people. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says, وَآثَرَ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا. It means a person who prefers the material worlds and this world to the day after, not who pays attention, or he has a business, or he achieves something from this world. Of course, we should have business. We should take care of our home, for example, our house, ourselves, our family. But to prefer this world for the day after is something that is condemned in Islam. Allah doesn't say you should not pay attention to this world. Allah says you should not prefer the material worlds and this world to the day after. وَآثَرَ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا. It means these people, their deeds are condemned. Please listen to the verse 42 to 46.
Yes.
Then Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says, يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ السَّاعَةِ أَيَّانَ مُرْسَاهَا. They ask you about the hour, when it will come. Hour, it means judgment day. People are coming to the Prophet and ask him when the judgment day is going to happen. فِيمَ أَنْتَ مِنْ ذِكْرَاهَا, about what you are one to remind of it. إِلَى رَبِّكَ مُنْتَهَاهَا, to your Lord is the goal of it. إِنَّمَا أَنْتَ مُنْذِرُ مَنْ يَخْشَاهَا. إِنَّمَا أَنْتَ مُنْذِرُ مَنْ يَخْشَاهَا, you are only a warner to him who would fear it. كأنهم يوم يرونها لم يلبسوا إلا عشية أو ضحاها. On the day that they see it, it will be as though they had not tarried but the later part of the day or the early part of it. Allah is talking about the time of judgment day. Several verses of Quran is talking about the people that who are coming to the Prophet to ask about the time of judgment day. And Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala did not answer. Did not answer, it means He didn't choose the time. Allah says, إِنَّمَا إِلْمُهَا عِنْدَ رَبِّي. Oh, the Prophet, tell them, قُلْ إِنَّمَا إِلْمُهَا عِنْدَ رَبِّي. The knowledge of the time of judgment day is with my Lord. This is something that nobody knows. Allah did not say the time and did not specify the time of judgment day. What is the reason of that? Maybe some people will question us. What is the reason? There are several reasons. One of the reasons is it is a blessing of Allah that we don't know the day that we are going to die or the day that the judgment day is. For example, if we know the time of our death, definitely we are not going to have tranquility in this life. And from the other side, since we are created to be examined in this world, if we know exactly such time is the last second and last opportunity for ourselves, this is not a time, this is not an exam. Why? Because if I know anything I do wrong, somebody beats me immediately, I'm not going to do that. Exam, it means to give a paper to somebody and give a pen and tell you are free to do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. After 1 hour, you will see the result. Allah has done the same. Allah doesn't say the time of judgment day and the time of our deaths until it will be a real exam. Otherwise, people maybe do something good because they afraid of Allah, because they want to get something very cash, or they stop to do something bad because they are afraid of punishment. Of course, if Allah punishes us immediately after a sin, nobody is going to have a sin. But this is not an exam. Allah wants to say to believe in Judgment Day is the most important thing. To know the time is not a big deal. If you don't know, okay, that's okay. If you trust Allah, that's okay. Time is not a big deal. Why you want to know exactly when it is going to happen? When you know your father is going to help you financially, it's better to trust him, not to tell him every time, when are you going to give me money? Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says, إِنَّمَا أَنْتَ مُبَشِّرٌ. But here, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says, إِنَّمَا أَنْتَ مُنْذِرٌ. O the Prophet, you are a warner. When Allah wants to give, or the Prophet wants to give a good news, for example, for reward for Judgment Day, We don't have such a things that, oh, the prophet, you only give a good news or give glad tidings. But for warning, this is a special position for the prophet. Indeed, your duty is to warn the people. Some few things, few messages that we can understand from these verses. One is regarding to the time of Judgment Day, that it's better not to ask about the time, since Allah didn't mention, and is not important to know the exactly answer. And of course, even if we insist we are not going to have the answer, it's better not to ask such a question. It's better to ask a question that is going to help us for today, to do something with that. فيما أنت من ذكراها. Allah wants to say, to know the time has nothing to do with you. So leave it, and the knowledge of that, leave it to the hand of Allah, and don't ask such a question. Anything that has nothing to do with us, it's better not to interfere. إلى ربك منتهاها. Allah wants to say there are something like the time of Judgment Day. The knowledge of that is specified to Allah. We are limited, our knowledge are limited. That is only Allah, that Himself and His knowledge are not limited. So we should not interfere to something that is not, that belongs to unlimited. إنما أنت منذر, you are a warner. Allah wants to say to the Prophet, Prophet, your responsibility is only to guide them and to warn them, nothing more than that. And also, we should know that we are not forced to do anything. We are free to choose. Then لم يلبسوا إلا عشية أو ضحاها. Judgment Day is so great that in that day, when we look at this world, we see all our life as a morning or in the evening. It's so small. We ask Allah to help us to obey Him. Thank you very much for watching. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.